Hello, this is Nandin with Scumonk YouTube channel. In this video, I will be talking about what is your competitive advantage selling on Amazon. So I am part of a mastermind group called the Sellers Roundtable, and we just had our retreat. We have a in-person retreat twice a year. We meet every other week on Zoom, but so we just had our in-person retreat. There's about 13 of us, and we are all 7 or 8 figure Amazon sellers. And I learn a lot from these retreats. And so these are some of the things that I will bring to you, sharing with you from what I've learned. Tyler Jeffcoat with Sellers Roundtable is the mastermind leader, and he does a great job leading our group to learn the first few. I'll talk about why I joined another video. But basically today I will be talking about the Amazon marketplace and their design. So Jeff Bezos designed the Amazon marketplace with 3 pillars in mind. His company is very customer centric. So the 3 pillars that he chose is price, that they want to deliver lower price, higher selection, and faster speed of delivery. This is basically their flywheel. And I found this modified flywheel that somebody created. Basically, their lower prices leads to better customer experience, which means more customers join and there's greater traffic, which means more sellers join and then which leads to greater selection, and the flywheel keeps spinning. And then the lower cost structure that they get also lowers the prices. Although I would argue that their lower cost structure competitive advantage is eroding with their fees they're increasing. But even then, there's nobody that can compete with them at this point on a cost structure. And then they make infrastructure improvement that improves efficiency, which leads to faster delivery. They still are fastest delivery network by far, twice as fast as Walmart and other delivery. So this is their flywheel. This is their competitive advantage. So they've designed it so that they pull together the world's, all of the world's retailers, distributors, manufacturers into one place and pit it against each other for the sake of the customers. That's why Amazon is one of the most competitive places in the world. You have people like legitimate white hat sellers like us, and then they have gray hat sellers, black hat sellers. They have Pakistani wholesalers working $3 an hour, competing with people in the U.S. And then we have manufacturers from Vietnam, China, Europe, Asia, Africa, South America, everywhere. So they want this number of sellers to grow because that means more competition, which means greater selection, which spins their flywheel here. And then once they have, as they are now, the sellers and the buyers on one place in this flywheel, they can charge bigger Amazon tax in forms of FBA fees and advertising fees, as we're seeing that. So one of the mastermind members said that, he observed that Amazon Marketplace is eroding because the Asian sellers coming in with names like JPTK, LMNOP, names like that is eroding. But I think that is part of the design of Amazon. Amazon is fine with most of the sellers on Amazon being Asian or lower cost countries, as long as it feeds this flywheel of theirs, as long as it lowers the price and improves selection. So that is just here to stay. So the next thing I wanted to talk about is, how do we gain our competitive advantage selling on Amazon as Amazon sellers? I think selling on Amazon is about finding unmet needs, which is a blue ocean, and creating value for our customers. But at the same time, putting barriers of entry between us and the competition. That's the hard part. It's basically we want something that we can do that the competitors cannot do, or it's harder for the competitors to do. So I've learned that there are these areas of selection, optimization to gain your competitive advantage. So the first one is product selection. Basically, you want to choose the right products with high enough volume, low competition, and enough margin for you to come in there and sell and make a profit. And sourcing the right products at the right price is this area of optimization that you can do. The next one is listing optimization. So once you find the products, you want to be able to present it in a way that the customer buys from you instead of your competitors. And one of the ways is to better answer common customer questions and addressing their fears with better infographics, because more than half of sales begin on mobile nowadays. So make sure you don't forget about the mobile experience to see how it looks. It's a different experience than the desktop experience, which, I'm recording this video and work most time from the desktop. But the mobile experience is what most customers are starting at. And then video is also another area of listing optimization. And then the third one is advertising optimization. Obviously, it's about conversion. So we basically, with advertising, you're basically buying traffic, and you want to make sure that traffic converts so that you can make a profit. So the best value that I've gathered from our group is that the best value are high converting long tail keywords. There's just more of them, but they're lower volume because they're not as competitive on those long tail keywords. So it's about targeting the right keywords and negating the wrong keywords to keep the conversion rate high and making a profit on advertising optimization. Next, we have supply chain. Supply chain is about getting the right products and sending them the right amount so you don't stock out, but not sending too much where you have to pay extra storage or inventory surcharge, because those fees are getting higher and higher. The Amazon wants you to they want to raise the bar on the supply chain optimization. So at the same time, you also have to balance that with how much cash you have, because during COVID, most of our sellers in the group, in the mastermind, had grown our inventory, 50% or 100%, like double our inventory because of supply chain issues. Well, with the sales that dropped last year from 2021 to 2022, many of our businesses got into trouble because we didn't have enough cash to service the debt that we have incurred to double our inventory. So that gets us to the next optimization, is financial optimization. Financial optimization, selling on Amazon is very cash intensive business because it's an inventory based business. And most of us relied on debt to get to our scale of 7 or 8 figure seller because there's just not enough margin or profit to scale profitably. And later on, I've also learned from our mastermind how to grow without getting into more debt. And that's another video later. But basically, we have to make sure that our business financially is profitable. It is a financially profitable business, and that requires knowing our numbers month to month to make sure that that we are still profitable each month. Because it's easy to get on the train of getting the Amazon lending, and that is basically very addictive crack. They make it very easy to get that Amazon lending, but I call it the spiral of death because of high monthly payments. Some of our business in particular got into trouble a couple years back because at one point we were paying $95,000 a month in debt service to Amazon alone. Like, we didn't have enough money to pay payroll, and we were having a cash crunch. So we had to restructure majorly. Fortunately, we were able to get out of that spiral. So I consider Amazon lending as one of the last resort. They're basically a loan shark. So just like these guys, PharmaPacks, they were talking about businesses with profitable business models. They were basically subsidizing Amazon by operating at a loss every year, and they thought that they could grow out of the negative profit. And so they were just using institutional capital to subsidize their business. But as we've seen, that is not scalable. Selling on Amazon is very hard to scale, as we've seen with PharmaPacks, as we've seen with aggregators buying up businesses in the last few years. Most of them are in trouble because of that. That it is hard to scale an Amazon business profitably. You don't get much economies of scale because the costs grow exponentially with your scaling. So, with back to the financial optimization. You have a limited amount of capital. You want to deploy it where you get the best return for it, and also because as you get more SKUs, more products, and all these optimization you have to juggle, things get more complicated. The complexity grows exponentially as your business scales on Amazon, and so the Amazon space. The other factor is the Amazon space model changes so quickly that complexity just compounds upon complexity. And the only way we've been able to get our competitive advantage is the technology has allowed us to do more with less people. And also it also enables things that we couldn't do before. With technology optimization, you have two choices. You can either use existing software or develop our own like we did. But bottom line is, that is a competitive advantage, but it's also very expensive and can be made obsolete with the changes on Amazon. The last part is the next part is because the Amazon marketplace is very transparent. You can see other people's sales, fees, and reasonably guess their profits. So any edge that you get, doesn't last. For example, it used to be if you have a trademark and brand registry, that is a competitive advantage, but that advantage erodes over time. It is still an advantage to people who don't have brand registry, like us. We are mostly a wholesale business. We're trying to move into our own brand so that that becomes a competitive advantage. But other people can also get brand registry, as we've seen with Amazon sellers. The Chinese sellers making those weird name brands. One of the people in our group Mastermind specializes in patents, and patents can be utility patent or design patent, and that gives you about a 1 to 2 year head start. Basically, before Amazon space, when you have a patent, it could protect your product for about 5 to 10 years. But Amazon has compressed that time frame down to 1 to 2 years because of competition and that's not changing. That's just the way the world is going. So also with the patent, if you want to protect your patent, you also have to create the design patent, basically copy yourself, modify your own design, create new patents just to protect the existing patent that you have. And so that's one of the ways to gain this competitive advantage, because the next is you can get a supply chain to get your edge, but it soon will be copied because people like Jungle Scout and Import Yeti shows the public records of your import records, and they know exactly who your vendors are. They can go to your competitor can go to your vendor and buy the same products. So the takeaway that I found is basically you have to run faster to gain that edge against your competition, or your margins will erode. So the key takeaways. Well, before I get to key takeaways, a story is so one of the a couple of our sellers on Amazon in 2021. They were making around $500,000 of profit in 2021, but because of the sales drop and the cost of labor going up in 2022, they barely made any money. We are in that similar boat with 21 to 2022. So we're trying to get in our competitive advantage. So key takeaways: it's about finding areas that you can create values for customers while making it harder for competitors to follow. And you cannot rest on your past successes. The 4-hour work week, it doesn't apply to Amazon, because while you're on the beach somebody else is going to eat your lunch. So selling on Amazon is not passive income. Anybody who tells you that is not going to become very successful. It's baloney. And the other thing is to have realistic expectations about your edge, because it will erode over time. So you have to continually find new edge. You should always look to improve your team's execution as well, because selling on Amazon is a team sport, and basically this team sport is like the World Cup. You're basically competing against the best of the best in the world in your particular niche area. So your team has to always continually improve and to be masters at your craft, and have a team, because not everybody has the skills needed to do everything. So that's basically what I learned from the Sellers Roundtable retreat this past weekend, and I wanted to share that with you guys. If you like, please click like and subscribe. In the future, I will be putting more videos on what I've learned as well.